Father.
You chose this.
What's going on, Aurora Alliance, and welcome back to a Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. In today's video we're going to be talking about the offline modes in Star Wars Battlefront 2. These of course consist of the campaign and the co-op split screen mode. Star Wars Battlefront 2's campaign begins just after the destruction of the second Death Star, which we can see in the Star Wars Battlefront 2 trailer. The campaign is meant to cover the 30 years between Return of the Jedi and Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens. This campaign will tell the tale of Iden Versio, the commander of the elite special forces unit known as the Inferno Squad. This story is also going to be part of the canon Star Wars universe. Motive's game director Mark Thompson actually spoke about this and said when Motive started to work on the campaign, it was at the time when Star Wars The Force Awakens was still in movie theatres. They were all very excited about that because that left so many amazing questions, and they thought, let's try and tell one of those stories that connects these two amazing trilogies together. Iden is the daughter of a high-ranking Imperial officer who brought their homeworld Vardos into the Empire. They wanted to take off the helmet of a stormtrooper and find out who they actually were, and why they believed in the Empire, and what it meant to be an elite Imperial Special Forces soldier. The Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign missions are going to be referred to as chapters, and players will be able to step outside of Iden's shoes and play as iconic Star Wars characters like Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren. Content producer Paolo Joax, during the Q&A session after the Star Wars Battlefront 2 reveal, said, "In the movies they keep switching the point of view between the protagonist and the antagonist, and it gives you a different perspective on the situation. They're going to do the same thing, so you're mainly going to be playing as Iden, but sometimes you're going to be playing as heroes like Luke and Kylo, and that's what they're giving to us, a different perspective. There will be scenes with Iden and giving you a different perspective on what Iden's doing." Iden Versio will also have a backpack droid, who is going to be a customizable companion character, and Joach said, "You have this awesome droid that is slightly more nimble. You are going to be a constant companion. It has a very symbolic relationship with you. He's kind of camped on your back and has cool skills." The Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign will also have its own unique progression system that is separate from the online multiplayer portion of the game. But this progression system for the campaign is going to be designed off of the one used by the multiplayer section of the game. Schwartz said the campaign has a progression system that is modelled on the multiplayer one. So Iden will have her own progression system, and as in multiplayer, you'll be able to customise weapons, gadgets and special abilities. We definitely want to build a consistent game, so the mechanisms that we're building in multiplayer, we're using them in the campaign. The campaign will also feature ground combat, as well as in-atmosphere fighter conflicts and big space battles, and it's also been hinted that the narrative provides the player some elements of choice, but there has been very little detail on that. The campaign will also only be a single player experience, and you can't play the campaign co-op. The co-op portion of Star Wars Battlefront will be a different part of the game. The Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign is also tied in with the upcoming novel Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. The novel will, however, begin immediately following A New Hope and the destruction of the first Death Star, whereas the Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign will take place post Return of the Jedi. Now on to the co-op section of Star Wars Battlefront 2. EA haven't shared too many details about the Star Wars Battlefront 2 co-op game mode, but on the Star Wars website there is a brief description of this mode. Team up with a friend in 2-player offline split-screen play, earn rewards, customise troopers and heroes, then take your skills and upgrades to the online battleground. EA mentioned in the official announcement for Star Wars Battlefront 2, you will also cooperate against AI foes in skirmishes that span the cinematic eras and engage enemies in entirely new modes. If you look at a few pre-order pages for Star Wars Battlefront 2, there are a few hints that you will be able to train offline. A description actually says, "Practice makes perfect, enjoy solo offline play where you can earn rewards, customise troopers and heroes, then bring your upgrades into the online multiplayer battleground." A lot of people are speculating that this offline mode is going to be similar to Skirmish, which is in the current Star Wars Battlefront game, but it will be slightly changed and improved so it suits a lot of people better than the current one. Dennis Brownvall actually commented on comparing the multiplayer progression with the campaign's progression, saying we don't want to end up in a situation where in previous games that we made, players who maybe didn't like multiplayer or they liked one of the two felt compelled to play the other one just to collect that one thing. We want to make it a more united experience here, where you can play whatever you want and you still feel like you're progressing. So this also could apply to the Star Wars Battlefront 2 co-op or solo offline game mode, whatever it's going to be. So I am expecting, in a way, for Star Wars Battlefront 2 to have an offline multiplayer section where you can play the Star Wars Battlefront 2 multiplayer modes offline and against AI bots. This would allow you to unlock items and rewards, which would carry over to the online section of Star Wars Battlefront 2 multiplayer. It's going to be interesting to see if a form of private match or skirmishes return in Star Wars Battlefront 2. I really hope they do, and I kind of think in a way that some form of offline multiplayer will return to Star Wars Battlefront 2 in a new, improved way, but I'm not sure how it's going to work yet. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think of the single player campaign and the co-op offline modes. Do you think that there is going to be a form of private match, or do you think that Skirmish will return for players to play the online game modes offline on their own against AI bots? Make sure to smash a like on this video if you have enjoyed it, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to join the Aurora Alliance and be kept up to date with all things Star Wars games, especially Star Wars Battlefront 2. Other than that, may the Force be with you.